So many choices for my next turning. I've got some maple, I've got some plum, I've got some cherry, I've got some really nice walnut. Stick around and see which one I choose. Alright, I picked one of the pieces, and I might regret this because I've had a lot of problems with this type of wood. I decided on a piece of the plum. I've got 3 pieces that my brother-in-law gave me. This one he had already sealed. That's not when he sealed it. I picked it up on 12/21 and I wrote that on there just so I'd remember. It had been down for quite a while. It seemed like it was pretty dry. The other 2 that are not sealed measured 17%. I'm going to go ahead and get a flat spot right about here, get it mounted on a worm screw, and we'll just start turning it. And hopefully it'll be a nice looking natural edge bowl. I'll be right back. So I just drilled a 2 1/8 inch flat spot because I made this little adapter that I have a lag screw in, and it works good. Alright, we'll get the tailstock up and we'll see what kind of RPMs we can get. Alright, I've got it mounted up. I've got the tailstock against it. We're turning about 650 RPM. I'm going to start with a 5/8 bowl gouge. So let's have a look. It has a lot of color. Oh yeah, that is very nice. I hate to do this, but I want to see if I'm being fooled on how wet it is. Oh, it's 13%. Looking good. I like it. I think I want to cut just a little bit more off of it right here. There. I like that a little bit better. I just need to finish blending this in. And I still have a little dip here. Let's see if I can gently blend it in going this direction. I just don't want to tear that bark off. I'll switch back to the 1/2 inch bowl gouge. Okay, I've got it. I think this is alright to sand right now. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and sand this using my 2-inch disc, starting with 80 grit, sanding in reverse, and I'll work through 400, and then I think I'll put a coat of sealer on it and we'll flip it around. I'm going to get my dust collector going. And I'll be back when we're done sanding. I have it sanded to 400 now, and I'll go ahead and put a coat of sanding sealer on it. And it's a shellac base, it's a Zinsser seal coat. And I just want you to see the colors come out of this the same time I do. Okay, I think that's what I was hoping for. It's very pretty. Pretty much soaking it up, so it'll probably take a couple coats. I'll get a couple coats on it or whatever it takes, and then I'll come back, we'll have it flipped around, and I'll probably use shellac for the final finish, and I'll do that all at the same time. So there it is. It is a very pretty piece of wood. Alright, I'm going to let this sit all night. It's getting a little late, and I never put a sweatshirt on, and it's kind of chilly. So I will see you tomorrow. Okay, I've got it flipped around in the chuck. I'll keep the live center against it for a little while. I've got a lot of low spots here, each end. I've got the bark diving off fast here. So as soon as I get a good cut established, we'll pull the tailstock back out of the way. 5/8 bowl gouge, 730 RPM. Alright, I need to try to go a little more vertical going down here so I can thin this out. Turn up to about 800 RPM now. I'm just trying to sneak up on this area here. Right there, it sticks up higher than the rest of it. Lots of stock. I'm almost to the bottom of that drill hole. That's it right there. It's actually pretty smooth except for a few tool marks, so I will go to the negative rake scraper now. Alright, I'm going to use this one that I made from my framing chisel because I think I can reach this a little better and the radius is closer to what I have. Okay, I think it's time to sand. Sanding the inside is going to be very similar to the outside except for these areas that stick up. I'll hold the piece by hand and sand those areas. And once I do that, I'll go over the bark with the Sandiflex. Then I'll go ahead and sand under power with the lathe spinning forward at around 400 RPM. So I'll go ahead and do a little bit of that and then I'll get it finished up and we'll be back and put a finish on it. Okay, I got my mask on. We'll do that. We'll go over it like this. And then we'll do it like this. Alright, see you in a little while. Well, this was a little harder to sand than the outside. And a lot of it's because of the bark is really close to the surface on this side. I'll go ahead and get a nice coat of sanding sealer on it, look it over, and possibly sand this off because it'll make sanding easier, and then reapply a couple coats of sanding sealer. But this is what it's going to look like here. It's pretty nice. Just that area right there I'm concerned with. Maybe I'll sand it off and do it again, maybe not. I'll let you know. Then we've got this bark. See what that looks like. That's going to darken up really nice. It's really soaking it up too. So that is what I'll be doing for a little while. Once I get this on, I'll put some shellac on it, which looks just like what we're doing here. Okay, I think it's going to look nice. I'll see you a little bit later for the next step. Okay, it's time to remove this tenon. I have some of the padded material inside of the bowl and I have a block in my chuck. Okay, let's check it out and see how it runs. Real nice. There. Start with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge and remove most of that material. Turn on about 650 RPM to start. Let me switch to my spindle gouge here. Alright, I'm going to sand this up before I cut the nub off. I'm sanding in reverse at about 350 RPM here. Find it easier to sand in reverse when I don't have a lot of room to get in here. That should do it. Alright, let's go ahead and cut the nub off. It might look a little different because after I finished sanding it, I sanded it and I put some friction polish on it, and it's looking pretty nice. About 250 RPM. I think we all know this is a Phil Anderson trick, and I'm hoping that I am successful again. Like that. It just stopped turning like Phil says, and we're done. How about that? Okay, I will have to sand the rest of this, put some more finish on it. I will be right back. Boy, I'm happy that came out the way it did. Well, here it is. It is all done. I think this is a beautiful piece of plum. The inside really looks cool. Those colors are so rich. The bottom looks nice. Finished 7.5 inches in diameter. It's 4 inches tall. The base is about 4.5, and the walls are almost a 1/2 inch. And I didn't want to go any thinner because there was a crack here. Didn't want to take any chances with it. This bark is really cool. It looks so nice on the shape of the edge as well, which is one of my favorite things. And I really like how this dips down that far. I wasn't sure while I was turning it if I would, but I certainly like it now. Something else that I noticed, and I should have known it was there, there's a feather coming up here, and that's usually because there's a branch involved coming off of this. Well, I should have known there was a branch because I cut this off of that blank. It had too much space between the main part and this that I just couldn't see a good way to use it, so I cut it off. And I'm really glad I did. I used 3 coats of Zinsser Seal Coat, 2 coats of Zinsser Shellac on it, and I think it made a great finish. I used some friction polish on the bottom before I took the nub off. And once I got it off, I decided to go over the bottom with Acks Polish Restoring Paste. And I liked that so well, I went over the rest of the bowl, the outside and the inside. And that really made it nice and smooth. So a special thanks to Rudy for giving me this beautiful piece of wood. I just love it. And that's about it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor and click that like button. And while you're there, it would be great if you could share the video around. Those 2 things will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment. I read them all, and I do my best to answer them all. Thanks to all my subscribers. And if you're not, please consider doing so. I do a mix of all types of turnings. Some are simple and some are complex, so let me know your favorite. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.